You ready for some book recommendations? So you have probably been forced to read certain classics in your high school or beyond, or maybe previous curriculum. Probably you didn't really enjoy being forced to read those books, because who does? But maybe there are some that are actually good that you never actually read, and now is the time to increase your scope of reading. Okay, that was a lot of very sing-songy, dancing-aroundy stuff, but now we're gonna get serious. My first recommendation is something that I read this past year that I never read in high school, and I don't know why. To Kill a Mockingbird by Harper Lee. That's not serious. What am I doing? In case you've never read To Kill a Mockingbird, it's about a girl named Scout who lives in the South. Her father is a lawyer. His name is Atticus Finch, and he ends up defending a black man accused of rape. I know what I just summarized probably sounds like really kind of dull and depressing and horrible, but it's really engaging, and there's a lot more about like Scout and her brother and their friend and like the neighbors and the community than just about how horrible everyone is. It's really good. It's set in the South. It's very engaging and kind of lyrical and interesting and fun to read, and looks at how society marginalizes people that they might not necessarily identify with right away, how even generally good people can do horrible things, and how you have to work really hard to kind of be your best self or else. Grapes of Wrath is kind of long, but it's this epic journey of the Joad family as they travel from Oklahoma to California during the Dust Bowl, the people they meet along the way. My favorite scene is when they go to this truck stop and a woman sells them like penny candy, and just when you get to it, you'll know what I'm talking about. One of the biggest ideas in this book is that we need to look at each other as a universal family, and we need to look out for each other and help each other. A lot of people were really kind of upset with this book at first because they were angry at like how socialist and horribly humanitarian it was. When they adapted it into a film, they actually had to make it under a different name so that people in California wouldn't get all pissed off and like make them stop, because the California farmers weren't really a fan of how they were portrayed. I personally really like the kind of prose that Steinbeck writes. He's kind of like the opposite of Hemingway in that he uses usually longer, more flowing sentences, where Hemingway was kind of the king of keeping it terse and short. I think it's a really enjoyable book to read just because it's written very well and lyrically, and the story is really interesting, and even though it sounds like it might be depressing, it's generally an uplifting book. If you can believe that, take my word for it. Next up is not like a great American classic, it's just a classic in general, and it's Jane Eyre by Charlotte Brontë. In case you are wondering what the heck the actual plot of Jane Eyre is, or if you haven't seen one of the many movie adaptations of it, Jane Eyre is an orphan who was raised by her cruel aunt for a while before getting sent to an orphanage, before becoming a governess, before finding out about, you know, the whole crazy wife thing, and then she wanders around for a long time, and then there's a priest, and then she's back. And that is a very incoherent summary, but you know what? You should just read the book. It's pretty good. Why do I like it? A lot of it, I think, is because I like the main character, Jane Eyre. As you might have guessed from the title, that's who the book's about. The plot doesn't only move forward because things happen to her. Although there are certain circumstances that are out of her control, the action she takes when those things do happen to her are really what like pushes the reader to continue reading. So if you're tired of coming-of-age stories with a whiny protagonist who doesn't really do anything, this is the kind of book you should be reading instead. And last but not least is Mark Twain's Huckleberry Finn. This is a long book, and I know a lot of kids in like my junior AP class really complained about it a lot, but I thought it was pretty interesting for a required book. I will admit the last like several chapters really dragged as soon as Tom Sawyer showed up, but I do think it's a good book in general. There's a lot of stuff happening before those last couple chapters. There's basically this huge long string of adventures that Huckleberry Finn goes on to kind of achieve self-fulfillment and also not be racist anymore. Yay! It's really nice to see Huckleberry Finn come to the realization that individuals need to make up their mind for themselves what they believe is right and wrong, and not accept the morals that society dictates to them without question. So there you go. 4 classics that maybe you were supposed to read in school and didn't really like, or that you've never tried before and want to cast an eye on now. In any case, I hope you enjoy them, and I will see you for my next book recommendation video. Bye! It's To Kill a Mockingbird. Mockingbird by Harper. Oh my gosh, these books have such big ideas and I don't even know how to summarize them. Was it Charlotte or was it Emily? I need a fourth book. Okay. Okay, let's try this again.